For this problem, we have a steel manufacturer that offers this series discount, so 5%, 25%, and 10%, given certain conditions that appear within the rest of the problem. I think before I really get started, I'm going to take each percent, so 5% to start with, and I'm going to write it as a decimal. And if I do 1 minus that percent, we get 95%. So what's happening here is we're subtracting the percent from 1. Likewise, if you have 25%, that's 0.25. If you take that from 1, you get 0.75. So here that would just be 1 minus 0.25. And then lastly, if you have 10%, that's 0.1. Subtracting that from 1 gives you 0.9. And I'll just mark down what we're doing here. The reason I like to write down these 3 decimals that correspond to their percentages is we're going to apply this number to the values that appear within the problem. This is the discount, but using this value tells you how much you would actually owe. So let's look at part A. We have this construction company that orders this much material, so steel beams. If they place their order on February 1st and then provide their payment on March 3rd, what would that total payment be? So to start with, this amount is automatically given this 5% discount. So this was given to attract customers and to promote their products. So you automatically get 5% off of this. Since this is over $100,000, well, then they're going to apply this additional 25%. Unfortunately, it looks like, oh, this was so close. This is more than 30 days, so we don't get this final 10%. So to solve part A, we're going to take the dollar amount, which is 525,400, and we're going to multiply it by 0.95, followed by 0.75. I'm going to do that right in my calculator. So first multiply by 0.95, then multiply by 0.75, and the value we get is 374,347, and then I'll just put 50. So that will be the cost of the order. So let's check out part B. So, okay, again, some construction company places this order, and okay, it's more than $100,000. So since they're ordering something, they get their 5% plus this additional 25% discount. But then it looks like they made their payment within the 30-day period, so they get this extra 10% discount. So this means we're still going to multiply by 0.95 as well as 0.75, but then finally that 10% discount means we're really multiplying by 0.90. So again, this is going to the calculator and saying, okay, we get 259,000, and I'm going to multiply it by 3 decimals. Okay, and the value I get is 166,083.75. So this will be the amount that this construction company pays. So in part C, here we have an order placed to this manufacturer of steel for $55,400. So since this is less than $100,000, you don't get that 25% off, nor do you get that extra additional 10% off. It's simply going to be this amount, and you get that 5% discount. Multiplying by 0.95 will give us the total payment. So 55400 times 0.95, okay, gives us an answer of, okay, we get 52630. So a little discount, but that would be the final payment. And for part D, here again we have that same series discount of 5%, 25%, and 10%. But you could ask another question of, well, instead of considering this as three different percentages, is there a single discount equivalent to it that would take you from the beginning directly to the end? Like, for example, for the company in Part B that got all of those percentages combined. So the way to figure this out is to, again, look at each of these values, subtract them from 1, which gave us 0.95, 0.75, and 0.90, and take the product of those things. So I'll do that in my calculator. So 0.95 times 0.75 times 0.90, and the value we get is 0.64125. You know, you could round this if you want to, but I think I'm just going to list the whole number out with 5 decimal places. If you then take this number and subtract it from, well, what is essentially 100%, which I'm just going to say is 1, what we get is 0.35875. You can convert both of these numbers into percents by multiplying by 100, and all it will do is move the decimal over a total of 2 places. For this top one, that would be 64.125%, and down here would be 35.875%. And it is this value here that tells you a single percentage that would take you from the beginning to the end instead of doing a 3-step process. While this is enough for the question, I want to take the numbers that appeared in Part B and divide them to see if we get values that correspond to those 2 percentages. Not required, but it's definitely worth checking out. So from Part B, we had that this company placed an order for this dollar amount, and above that I'm going to put, well, because of the series discount, they really only paid this much. That was the amount they paid because that was the cost of the original order. Well, if you divide those two numbers, it should tell you the percent that they paid in total, and you can do this right in a calculator. I did the top number divided by the bottom, and when you know it, I got 0.64125. So this percent makes sense. It tells you, what fraction did you actually pay of this amount, which should correspond to this percentage. By taking this number from 1, we get the discount percent.